Hi everyone, and welcome to this CELPIP reading walkthrough. Reading is one of those skills which is quite tricky to improve. In order to make substantial gains in your reading score, you need to focus on two key areas. These two areas are A, your vocabulary, and B, your strategies. The focus of this video series is to teach you the strategies that you need in order to make effective use of your time and to increase your accuracy in responding to the tasks. The best way to teach these strategies is to apply them, not to theoretically learn about them, but to actually see how these strategies are used in real-world tests. The tests we'll be using for this reading walkthrough are the official sample tests provided on the CELPIP website. By following the link provided, you can gain access to two complete sample tests on the official Paragon website. I am going to provide a walkthrough for each of the 4 sections of the reading test from these 2 free samples. Watch this video first and learn about the strategies and techniques, and then apply the techniques to the other free test available on the Paragon website. But if you feel you know what the strategies are, do the test and come back here to see how well you succeeded in applying those techniques and strategies. You can get amazing results from following these techniques. Not only will it improve your time management skills, but it will also give you that extra confidence that you need when you're selecting an answer. I hope you find these video walkthroughs useful. You can access the complete walkthrough series plus additional content on other skills by becoming a member of this channel. Okay, reading part 1, reading correspondence. I'm gonna go over the strategies for approaching the tasks and the questions in this first part of the CELPIP reading test, and I will demonstrate how you can use these strategies step by step. So every step of the way, if you're following me, you can see exactly how I'm reading the passage and how I'm finding the answers in the passage using a technique that will save me time and will improve the accuracy of my responses. So let's check it out. You'll see for yourself. Okay, so in part 1, reading correspondence, we're always given some kind of email, right? And a question that arises in really any given reading comprehension task is whether to start with the questions or whether to read the passage first and then go to the questions. Now, if you start with the passage and go to the questions, that's a good way of making sure that before you're reading the questions, you have a fairly good understanding of what the passage is about, and you will likely be able to answer many of the questions, considering that you have that previous and prior familiarity with the text and what it's saying. Now, the downside to doing this is that it's going to take some time. Depending on how fast a reader you are, you might be spending a few minutes, a few good minutes of your time just reading the email from beginning to end. And then when you go to the questions, unless you have this amazing memory, you're still going to have to go back and find the answers in the passage again, because you're not going to remember everything from the passage, right? So as you can see here, we're at a crossroads. Should we read the passage first and then go to the questions, or should we read the questions and find the answers in the passage? Now, here's the technique that I'm going to recommend to you. If you're a fast reader, especially in part 1, sure, you can go ahead and read the whole passage. It's really going to be helpful. It'll give you that confidence knowing that you've read the passage, right? Especially if you are of a higher level of proficiency, then you think, and you're probably right, that by reading the passage, you can gain confidence, right, when you're answering the questions. So yeah, if that's going to give you that extra boost of confidence, go ahead and read it. But please make sure you're not spending more than maybe 2-3 minutes maximum on the passage. Now, for those of you who think you're going to have to read the passage and it's going to take a long time, you're going to go to the questions and then you're going to have to come back and read the passage a second time, and you can't afford to do that, you can follow my technique. Now, my technique is you read the passage, but you don't read all of it. You only read parts of the passage to get a general idea of what this passage is about. Now, that's going to give you the confidence, and it's going to make it a lot easier for you to locate the information and the answers quite easily. Let me show you how you should be previewing the passage, okay? So we'll start with this passage that you can see here on the left on your screen if you're following through the link. And as you can see, it's an email, and we start always by identifying the sender and the recipient, because it's very important for us to know who is writing to whom and what is the purpose. Remember? So we're trying to essentially only answer 3 questions. And these don't necessarily have to do with the questions that you see for this task. This is just for you, right? To get a sound understanding of what this passage is about. So identify the sender, the recipient, whoever is receiving the email, and also the purpose. Why is this email being written? Okay, so the sender and recipient should be pretty easy because you can read the salutation, which in this case is to whom it may concern. And you also have to read the signature at the end. So Adam Stevenson. So a person called Adam Stevenson has written this email to whom it may concern. And when do we use to whom it may concern? We use it when we're addressing a company or an organization, and we don't really know who is on the receiving end, right? We just want someone from within that company or organization to read our email and to address whatever it is that we've raised, the issues that we've raised. Okay, now you read that, and you also want to read the opening paragraph. Now, the opening paragraph is very important because it tells you what the purpose of the email is. So if you ever want to, and there's usually one question in CELPIP that wants to see if you've understood the purpose, okay? So you get a lot of bang for your buck reading that first paragraph in full. Let's read it right now and you'll see what I mean. So the first paragraph reads, I don't usually write emails like this, but I had an experience with one of your bus drivers this morning that has stayed with me all day, and I felt I should share it with you. Okay, so looks like this Adam Stevenson has written an email to someone, and this someone happens to be in, the transportation a company or system, right? How do I know this? Because if you think about it, it says, I had an experience with one of your bus drivers, right? So that makes it very clear. And it stayed with them all day. Okay, now at this point, we don't know what happened. We don't know if it was a positive event or something happened that the writer didn't like. We don't know any of this. But listen, we now have the 3 most important pieces of information that we need to answer questions in part 1. A, the sender, B, the recipient, and C, the reason for writing. Now, trust me, even if you don't read anything else, even if you stop here, you, just by virtue of having identified these 3 pieces of information, you can answer a lot of the questions. Not a lot, but a few of the questions, right? And that's actually really great. Not only will it help you answer some questions, it will also help you not directly, but indirectly understand what the question wants from you, right? And it'll be easier for you to find that information. So sender, recipient, and purpose. Next, we're going to look at the first line of each of the paragraphs just to see what is likely to appear in that paragraph. So what kind of information am I likely to find in paragraph 1 after the opening, or paragraph 2? Let's do this and you'll see what I mean. So the first paragraph after the opening begins with this sentence. Having recently moved from Gloucester to the downtown area, it has taken me some time to learn the routes of the local buses. Okay, so this is this person's experience finding the best transportation route, right? And we also know that this person has recently moved to this city, right? To the downtown area of this city. The next paragraph reads, over the weekend, I planned the best routes to my new office. Okay, so looks like this person was going to work, right? And they use public transportation. And they're talking about how they planned their route on the day, right? And then finally, this last paragraph, the first line reads, in my sleepy haze, I forgot to look at the driver's name tag and I almost left my bag on the bus. But perhaps the shift supervisor can look at the schedule. So it looks like something happened between the writer of this email and the bus driver. And looks like this person is looking for the bus driver because they couldn't take down their name, or they couldn't remember the bus driver's name. Okay, and then we have regards, Adam Stevenson. Now you see, all of this could very easily be done in less than 2 minutes, especially if you've practiced this a lot. So do this and then go to the questions. You'll see how much easier it's going to be for you to answer the questions. So let's start with question number 1, which says, Adam now lives. Okay, now bear with me here. You see, do we look at the options or do we find the answer first? That's another question. Because sometimes what students do is when they see the question, they quickly click and look at the drop-down menu with the options A, B, C, and D. Okay? Now, the problem with doing this is that it gives the test designer a chance to trick you, because they will show you words and phrases that actually do appear in the passage. And so sometimes, especially students from lower levels or whose limited reading ability is limited, what they do is as soon as they see a keyword, they think that's the right answer. Or at least, even if they found the right answer, they still end up doubting themselves, right? Like, oh, maybe it's that other one. I saw that other keyword in the passage as well, so maybe I'm wrong. So I think it's best if you don't look at the items right off the bat. Read the passage, find the answer, and then come back and verify and see which one of the items will best match up with what you found in the passage. So let's try to do this. We're going to find out about where Adam lives, right? So where does Adam live? We already read the opening and the answer wasn't there, right? But if you remember, in the second paragraph, we had having recently moved to Gloucester. From Gloucester to the downtown area. So Gloucester is another city or town, or maybe a suburb, and this person has moved from Gloucester to the downtown area. So I think it's safe to assume that this person lives in the downtown area. Now, see, I didn't look at the options. Now I'm going to see if downtown area is perhaps one of the options here. So in Gloucester, no, moved from Gloucester. The downtown area, yep, this is promising. Outside the city, not really. And near McLeod Street. So we again, remember how they throw in words that you can find in the passage? So there's a very good likelihood that McLeod Street is going to show up. In fact, if you look at paragraph 3, the one that starts with over the weekend, line 3, we actually have the word McLeod. So again, if you had looked at the options, then you might have been confused, right? Because the word is repeated. But now you can confidently say that the answer to question number 1 is item B in the downtown area. Let's move on to question 2. The man is writing about something that happened on. Okay, now again, without reading anything from the passage and just going based on what we've read so far, where did this happen? We know that the writer was using public transportation, right? And then the writer wanted the name of a particular bus driver, right? So it happened on a bus, yeah, but then happened on, the preposition could be followed by a date and time. So if you read the question, but you're not sure what type of information they're looking for, in this case, you can make an exception and just very quickly look at the options. So you see here we have Saturday, Monday, Wednesday. So it's not what happened on a bus, for instance. It's the date and time. And so we're going to look at the passage and we're going to try to find the answer to question number 2, which is a date or time, right? But before I do, I want to point something very important out. Now, in CELPIP, the answers 99% of the time will appear in order. Meaning, if I found the answer to number 1, downtown area, here, then I'm going to find the answer to number 2 somewhere after this first sentence where I found the answer to question number 1, right? So where can I find this? Well, check it out. We're going to look for any dates or days or anything here. Let's see. Here we have over the weekend. Check it out. We have over the weekend. I planned the best routes to my office. Now, when you're planning over the weekend, when are you going to probably go to work? And we know this person's going to work, right? And if they've been planning over the weekend, then this is something that happened on Monday, right? So let's take a look at the options. Yes, we do have Monday. So here we have the answer Monday. But check it out. Also, if you need more evidence for it, this sentence in the 3rd paragraph, however, the weekend was a busy one for me and I didn't get caught up on my sleep. So if your weekend is busy and you don't get enough sleep, then you're going to have some difficulty getting up on Monday morning. So that's the answer to question number 2. Question number 3, Adam figured out how to get to work by, all right, so Adam did some research, right, to get ready. And where can we find this information? Remember, the 2nd paragraph begins, having recently moved, it has taken some time for me to learn the routes of the local buses. And again, bearing in mind that the answers are likely going to appear in order, I'm going to look at this paragraph and to see where Adam found this information. So look, I first tried looking at the map at the station and asking my apartment manager, but I still wasn't clear on how to get around town. So did it work? He asked the manager, and it's probably going to be one of the options, but did it work? No, it didn't. I also couldn't find any information kiosks near to my home. So information kiosks. Did it work? No, he couldn't find any. And then, nevertheless, I finally figured out using your online maps and schedules at URL provided. So there's a URL. So it's where was this information eventually successfully located? on a web page. So let's see which of the options best matches what we found. So A, checking with the apartment manager. I told you this would be one of the items. And again, it's there to trick you, not the correct answer. Using the transit information kiosk. Again, it appeared, but it's not the answer. Asking one of the bus drivers, not really. And visiting the transit webpage. So as you can see, I can confidently select item D as the correct answer here. Question number 4. Adam's problem that morning was that now again, we read this, didn't we? If you recall, we read that there was something going on that prevented this person from getting up and getting ready and catching the bus. So we didn't read any of the particulars. We're going to read the particulars right now to see what was Adam's problem exactly. So you see here, however, the weekend was a busy one for me and I didn't get caught up on my sleep, okay? I was up early enough to get ready for my work. I even made my way to the stop at Bank and Queen. Now, check this out. Keyword method. Look, I'm reading parts of the passage, which is, again, quite a confident approach to answering the questions. But if you're running short of time, if you need to do this real fast, what you're going to do is you're going to find a keyword in the question and match it to the keyword in the passage. So look, the keyword in the question is Adam's problem. All right, so we're going to look for the word problem somewhere. And lo and behold, here in paragraph 3, we have in the middle, the problem was I closed my eyes for a moment at the bus stop and ended up nodding off. Now, what does it mean to nod off? Sometimes a keyword or a key phrase in the passage will determine whether or not you get the answer. Now, to nod off means to fall asleep involuntarily, right? So sometimes, you're really tired after work, you're on a bus or a train, and you nod off. Your head falls and you fall asleep. So you see, he didn't get enough sleep, and then he nodded off. So what was the problem? Let's take a look at the options now. A, he didn't wake up on time. No, in fact, he did, right? So the problem was, check it out. It says, again, the problem was I closed my eyes for a moment at the bus stop, not at home, at the bus stop. So that's not the answer. He was late for work. Well, we don't know. He doesn't talk about that part of the story. He missed the bus. No, not really. We don't know that. But he was very tired. So when do you nod off? You nod off when you are very tired. And so that is the answer to question number 4. Question number 5. The most important detail in Adam's message is that, remember how I told you there's often a question that asks you, what is the purpose? Like, what is the main point of this letter or email? That's the question. This is the one that you have here. See, it says the most important detail in Adam's message is that, okay, now this one's a little open-ended and we don't have any keywords in the question to find. Remember, it's one of those questions that's asking about the main point, not about any particular piece of detail, but about the main purpose of this email. So it's fine to look at the options. A, he waited in a bus shelter. Okay, is that the reason he's writing? No, remember it was about the driver. It has something to do with the driver and their name, right? And we can also see this in the opening where it says, I had an experience with one of your bus drivers. So let's take a look. Option B, the bus driver honked at him. Okay, this one's a little better, but we don't know. We don't know, right? Because we know that there was a bus driver involved, but let's take a look at the other options. Let's see if the other ones have a bus driver or an issue with the bus driver. C, he intended to transfer to bus number 42. Okay, and he was at Bank and Queen at 7:30. Look, items C and D are details, guys. Right? So we don't want details. We want the main idea. And remember, it had something to do with the driver. And so even without reading the details, I'm going to go with option B. Again, why? It's because the opening gives away and clearly reveals the purpose for this email. And also, if you want to make sure that you got it right, well, you can continue reading. Check it out. In paragraph 3, towards the end, after the part where he said, I nodded off, the passage reads, fortunately, when the bus approached, the driver saw me sitting there and honked his horn at me. I was so pleased that he stopped and took a moment to wake me up. So as you can see, yes, it is correct. The reason this person is writing the email is to thank the bus driver for honking and waking him up when he just nodded off and fell asleep because of being really tired, right? Okay, now finally, the message expresses. Now, express, we know there's going to be some kind of feeling, right? Expresses anger, expresses delight, expresses frustration. So what kind of feeling is this? It looks like this person, the driver, did this person a favor, right? And so it seems like this writer, Adam Stevenson, is trying to identify the bus driver to thank them for what they did, right? So again, this isn't something you find in any particular place, even though you can find the evidence here. Look at the last paragraph. All I'm saying is you can answer some of the questions without necessarily finding evidence. It's going to be a little risky, but it is possible for those of you who might be struggling with time. So check out this last sentence here. It says, could you please pass along my thanks to the driver and make sure his excellent customer service is recognized. Looks like to express thanks, right? And let's take a look at the options. We have A, gratitude, B, concern, C, sadness, and D, excitement. One thing you can do with these kinds of questions is categorize the options in terms of being positive or negative. So gratitude is positive, right? Concern is negative. Sadness is negative. And excitement is positive. So we want something that portrays that positive feeling. And so it's either gratitude and excitement. And if you're stuck in between, what really gives it away and what really makes it really super clear that the answer is gratitude is the sentence that I just read. Again, in the last paragraph, last line, could you please pass along my thanks to the driver and make sure his excellent customer service is recognized? So I'm going to go with gratitude. Okay, so the second part of reading for correspondence in CELPIP involves a response email, right? So Adam Stevenson wrote this email, explained what happened, and wanted to thank the driver. Now, someone from the transportation company is now writing back to Adam. So as you can see, the salutation is Dear Mr. Stevenson, right? So it's pretty clear. And that's normally the case. Okay, now what we're going to do here is we're going to try to first get a good idea of what the tone of this message is and what this message is generally trying to say. And so the way you could do this is really quickly read the response from beginning to end, ignoring all of the blanks, right? So this will give you a good idea of what tone the response is going to be in. Now, again, you can do this. It's going to be helpful, but it might take more time than you can afford to spend. So another way to do this is really quickly looking at the first lines. Okay, so Dear Mr. Stevenson, we truly appreciate you taking the time to. So it's a positive note, right? It's of course, and we really didn't expect anything else, but you gotta be sure. So second paragraph, I'm not surprised that you found the downtown bus routes, okay? And then yes, the shift supervisor will definitely be able to. So it looks like they're going to help with the request. So let's start from question number 1. We truly appreciate your taking the time to... Now, what has this person done? Well, they've written an email, okay? And what could the respondents be appreciative of? The fact that this person has taken their time to write a letter and to express their gratitude, right? So that could be the reason. So we want the main idea. We know the answer to the 3 key questions. Who is the sender? Who is the recipient? What's the purpose? The purpose was to express gratitude to a driver who did this individual a favor. So let's take a look. Options. A, tell us about your transit experience. Yeah, sounds good. Sounds right. This person was in fact sharing their experience using the transportation system. So it could be that. B, let us know about the route confusion. Now, I don't think that's the reason. You see, again, the item is trying to see if you understand the main purpose. And the main purpose is not just to say, oh, I was really confused. 3, return the bag you found on the bus. Nothing about a lost bag. And D, a problem with our website. I think you would all agree that having understood the purpose for this email, the correct answer is option A, right? And I'm going to choose it. So as you can see, I managed to answer kind of 2 questions without reading the passage and just based on that initial preparation that I did, only spending 2 minutes reading select parts of the response. The next paragraph, I'll read the next sentence. Surveys and forms are all very good, but a personal note is even better. Okay? I'm not surprised that you found the downtown bus routes blank than those you have been used to. Now, think about it. This person was trying to find the route, right? And in the second paragraph, first line towards the end, he says, it has taken me some time to learn the routes of the local buses. So it hasn't been easy. It's taken him some time. So if it takes you some time to understand the routes, is it easy or is it difficult? Chances are it's been difficult, right? So let's take a look at the options. I'm not surprised that you found the downtown bus routes less numerous. It wasn't about the number. In fact, they had more routes, right? Because that's what made it more difficult and confusing. B, much slower. He wasn't complaining about how slow the service is. It was the confusing element, right? More complicated. Yes, that one sounds good. More stop and go. No, not really. So if we want to identify the correct answer, then we can rely on this statement that says it has taken me some time to learn the routes, and the correct answer is more complicated. For your reference, the new blank will operate from Bank and Queen during peak hours. Now, what does it mean to say for your reference? It's like you found it confusing, right? But for your information, for your reference, you see, certain phrases in the response should tell you what information will come after them, right? So when we say for your reference, we're going to give some solution, some information that is helpful, right? So let's see. The new blank will operate from Bank and Queen during peak hours. So what was this person's problem? They got to the bus stop and they had to, wait a few minutes, and that's when they fell asleep, right? So what could be a solution to this? A bus shelter map? Not really. But shuttle bus, yes, shuttle buses are, are used to make the bus service more frequent that way. So it could be that. Information kiosk? Well, information kiosk was, will operate from Bank and Queen. It doesn't make sense. An online mapping tool. Again, none of that. The correct answer is the shuttle bus, right? So because he almost missed the bus, and a shuttle bus would have prevented that problem. So it's relevant, it's a solution, and so that is the answer to number 9. The next paragraph reads, yes, the shift supervisor will definitely be able to number 10. Now, remember, this person was trying to find the bus driver's name, and the word shift supervisor is a key word here. If you check the passage in the last paragraph, you will find shift supervisor in the second line. Let me read it for you. In my sleepy haze, I forgot to look at the driver's name tag, and I almost left my bag on the bus. But perhaps the shift supervisor can look at the schedule, right? Why would the shift supervisor look at the schedule? To find who the driver was, right? And so, yes, the shift supervisor will definitely be able to, if we're, again, I haven't looked at the options yet, but it has to do with looking at the schedule and identifying the bus driver. So make a change in the schedule. That's not what's requested. Determine your driver's name could be, yeah? And identify your forgotten bag. No, there is no bag. This is just something that's made up. And monitor customer service. No, I think you would all agree that the correct answer here is determine your driver's name. However, the drivers are assigned set routes and schedules until October. You will most likely be able to, now, check it out. It's going to be the same drivers, same routes. So you will most likely be able to do what? To find the driver on the same route again. So let's check it out. A, consider establishing an information kiosk. No. Thank your driver when you catch the bus. Yes, right? Because this person's going to be using the same bus route, and the driver is going to be the same for the whole month of October. So there's a very good chance this person will see the driver and will be able to thank them in person, right? C, suggests that our drivers wear name tags. No, not really. It wasn't the name tag that was missing. It's that he forgot, right? Adam forgot to look at the name tag. And finally, remind all our bus drivers to be on time. That's, again, if you've understood the passage, if you've understood the purpose, then you know this is not the right answer. So we'll go with option B, thank your driver when you next catch the bus. All right, guys, I hope you found this video useful. I suggest that you do a test and try to follow the same procedure and the same techniques that I've been telling you about. Trust me, mastering these techniques will save you a lot of time, will add to your level of accuracy, and you can kind of understand what each question type wants from you, and to ensure that knowing what the examiner wants, you will be able to deliver those exact same set of skills and to demonstrate those exact set of skills on your test. Anyway, good luck to you all, and see you all in the next one.